In the news this week, power prices set to spike again under renewable energy reform.
Community TV to be kicked off the air as the government aimed to free up the broadcast spectrum. And a historic amnesty scheme to illegal gun owners if they hand in their weapons.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Danielle Staniscov.
Good evening. There are fears that electricity prices will go up by 20% if the Turnbull government decides to adopt recommendations and invest in renewable energy sources. Some MPs within the party already expressed opposition towards the recommendations. Elise Image begins our coverage.
Prices are expected to surge from 26 cents to 46 cents per kilowatt if the report's clean energy target is implemented. The average household could be facing extra costs of approximately $6.15 per week. The report aims to deliver 4 key benefits for the electricity system, including future reliability, increased security, rewarding consumers, and lowering emissions. Many young people agree renewable energy is a great thing, however they are worried about the cost.
Renewable energy, yes, I do support it to a point, but not to the point that I do not have anything to eat for the next week or two.
I definitely support renewable energy. Anything that's better for the planet is better for us, but the 20% one is definitely just a rip-off.
And a national price hike can't come at a worse time, with the Treasurer previously saying the skyrocketing state debt will cause our power prices to increase regardless.
Everybody needs to understand for every dollar we spend, it's borrowed. So the budget is predicated on 7%. I wouldn't expect anything less than 7%.
Elise Simic for WAMN News.
Community TV station around Australia will not have their broadcast licence extended in the next 2 weeks. Many young people who want to join the media industry are concerned that they will lose the opportunity to get practical experience due to an increasingly difficult media landscape. Nelson Liu takes a look.
Michael has been volunteering with West TV for the past year, but he's concerned his experience could come to an end.
Without WTV, it'll make it harder.
With community television being forced off the air, youth training and local programming is under threat.
Without WTV, I wouldn't have been able to learn what I've done today, and the whole wider community got to see it. Now it's a bit sad that WTV will not be broadcasting anymore.
Community television broadcasting licences expire on June 30, following federal government plans in 2014 to move community TV online. Stations are fighting the change.
What we're seeing is increasing alienation of the whole audience, including young people.
If you think the future of WTV is grim, it's set to get worse, with Channel 10 entering voluntary administration. The network is looking for buyers to save the station, with jobs across the country at stake. However, industry experts claim television's future isn't as grim.
Even as it starts to develop, as it undoubtedly will, it survives.
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
A special amnesty has been granted by the government to encourage illegal gun owners to hand over their weapons. Taylor Hanna appears to be a solution to reduce gun violence.
Yes, Ivan, the government is encouraging West Australians to take part in a nationwide firearm amnesty, where they can surrender their guns without the fear of being prosecuted. Commencing on July 1st, people will be able to hand in their illegal or unlicensed guns to police stations, where they will be confiscated and crushed. Police Minister Michelle Roberts hopes that this will prevent guns from falling into the wrong hands.
I'd certainly call upon people to consider their circumstance and to consider whether they've got a gun or guns that they'll be able to hand back.
The amnesty will only be running for 3 months. Danielle, it's back to you.
Taylor, thanks. 56 people have been charged with allegedly selling illicit drugs inside licensed venues as a result of a 6-month operation. Approximately $1.1 million worth of drugs being seized, including over 5,000 ecstasy tablets and MDMA capsules, 430 grams of cocaine, 930 grams of cannabis, and 320 grams of methamphetamine.
The last thing we want is our children going into licensed premises in our key entertainment areas, and the first thing they are asked is if they would like a pill of ecstasy. That is not acceptable in our community.
A local MP has hit back at Federal Minister Alan Tudge for labelling Armidale as a dole bludger hotspot. The highest rate of non-compliance is in Armidale with 188 cases, followed closely by Mandurah. Gosnells, Belga and Rockingham. It's reported that 9,830 people are not meeting their welfare requirements in WA.
We've got a workforce of about 43,000 people. I think about 188, they said, were not fulfilling their obligation under the welfare system. That's 188 too many, but I don't think that should be casting aspersions on the general population of Armidale. I think very irresponsible and also misleading and wrong.
British Prime Minister Theresa May orders an inquiry into Grenfell Tower fire as residency demanded answers. At least 17 people have been perished during the blaze. It's understood that entire families are missing after the fire. It's believed that there are no sprinklers or fire alarms in the building, and the calls for improvement has fell to deaf ears. The special investigation into Russia's alleged involvement in the US election will examine if Donald Trump attempted to prevent justice. Interviews will be conducted with senior intelligence bureaucrats, including the current and former head of National Security Agency. Senators have also met with the council but refused to make further comments on the matter.
And finally this week, the annual WAITA Awards honoured some of our state's brightest technology innovators and entrepreneurs. This year, Vivian Conway took out the Achiever of the Year Awards for providing easy website access for people with disabilities. Winners will get the opportunity to compete in next year's Australian Information Industry Association's National Eye Award.
One of the most fascinating things for me is the fact that it put accessibility, which is what we're passionate about, front and centre. With all the CIOs and all the people in the ICT industry, and it kind of means that they have to sit up and take notice that accessibility and providing access to people with disabilities to their digital content is really important.
And those are the top stories you need to know this week.
We have the latest news on our website and Facebook. Until next week, good night.
Good night.